it's June, like the month, and I hope you're well. Today I want to talk to you about when to hire your first person. I honestly think that you should actually already be outsourcing half of the things that you probably do, but of course sometimes you might not feel like you're there yet. And this is when you know you should be hiring somebody else to support you in what you do. Now, let's just redefine the idea of hiring somebody, because it's not like you need to hire somebody full-time, right? You've got options of either contracting somebody or working with somebody on an hourly basis, for example. It doesn't need to be a full-on, okay, I'm bringing somebody into my business and I need to like have an employee. You're just having somebody as a contractor, and I want to take that and make it more simplified, or see that as reframing it to be, okay, what are the things when we're looking at productivity and our tasks and understanding what is important for us to do, using that Eisenhower matrix that I've talked about in a different video. What are those, like, what is that list that we know we don't need to be doing ourselves? And when you look at, okay, is it as simple as posting? Is it curating this? Is it writing this? Is it even using AI? Whatever that list looks like, identify the things that can be taken care of, and you'd be willing to, and you'd be very happy to not be doing those anymore. And as you delegate that to somebody else, of course, remember the benefits of delegating out. The fact that you're going to feel like you have more time back, you've reclaimed that, and you're going to feel like you have more energy to focus on the things that you enjoy. When you have that list, what you need to do next is you just need to find somebody who can tick those boxes and do those tasks. Now, before you go and hire somebody, the first thing you do is just have that list out as part of the responsibilities of what that person needs to take care of. Use AI for this if you like, but add in what it's like to work together with you in terms of a shared goal, a shared vision, and maybe put in some prerequisites of what you would like. Like maybe they might have been working in this industry in the past, or maybe they have a year of knowing how to do this, or you just really want somebody super proactive that can work on their own. List out a few skills. Once you have that job description and that layout of who you're really wanting to attract to support you, that's when you go and put this out there to basically bring in the right kind of candidates for you. Now, it can be as simple as a freelance website where you can access different contractors. You've got your Upwork.com, you've got your Fiverr.com, Freelancer.com, all of those websites where you can literally hire somebody on an hourly basis in various different areas, website, graphics, video editing, all of them. And the hard part is finding somebody good though, right? Because you're going to access so many people that they're going to be able to offer you everything. And there's so many candidates in those pools, in those websites applying, that you've got to really have a robust way of really bringing somebody on instead of waiting until you're feeling like you're overloaded with work. You shouldn't get to that point at all. You should already have something in place that allows you to not feel so overwhelmed. If you don't want to do some really great work, then a lot of clients are coming in, or a lot of like sales are coming in, and then you actually feel overwhelmed, and then you end up missing more opportunities because you're dropping the ball there on your own. The way that I would go about this is to really start small. Don't rewrite an entire marketing role and expect somebody to fill that up as your first hire. I would start super simple, even if it's admin tasks or these like data entry or things that truly just don't need you and are very simple to hand out. Start by hiring somebody that ticks the boxes, but not only ticks the boxes, but I think it's best to always find somebody that truly you connect with and you align with. That's why I actually don't use many of these websites, because I find it too hard to find somebody aligned that way. I much prefer using Facebook groups that have groups of certain types of individuals, whether or not they're marketers or if they're like designers or even sales groups. On Facebook groups, I find that so much more like active, because when you put something out there as a post in a group, somebody has to be very active in order to apply. I generally have an application process that's linked into my ClickUp, where there's a form and there's of course fields that people need to apply with. And I definitely don't use the old route of having just a cover letter and a resume. That to me is so boring. I put in a question that really allows me to see how they would tackle a problem or how they would solve something in line with the skill set that I need them to fill. So as an example, it would be if I need an account manager, I would ask, okay, what is an instance in the past? Tell me a story of when you've solved a problem or when you've had to deal with a client, what was the outcome? And if somebody doesn't share anything with me in there, or if for example, they give me paragraphs or like too much information, the way that it's communicated through that gives me an indication of if they're a good fit or not. So make sure that you have something that qualifies them as, okay, this might be a potential candidate or it might not be. The other thing is I generally have something that allows us to cut out and filter out any unsuitable candidates pretty quickly. It needs to be something like, it might just be if they haven't done video editing in DaVinci before, then that might be a no-go. And if it is, if everyone has that skill set, then how many years have they got in experience for that? And if it's below 2 or 1 or whatever your threshold is, then you can eliminate the rest as no, they are not successful. This is if you have a lot of candidates, of course, and it's such a great way to kind of source and find and attract the right people. When to hire somebody is really now. I believe that half of us are usually procrastinating on something, and you're going to be able to find somebody to do some part of the work, even in a really low capacity. But I think what it actually allows you to do is to practice the skill of managing another person. It allows you to recognize, oh, okay, the communication style that I have with this hire might not be right, or this is not how I prefer how we work together. Is it that you guys need to have like daily calls? Is it that you guys prefer just emails? You've got to practice these things so that you can see how it is to actually grow your team. And to be honest, I don't think that anybody ever gets it right like from day one. You've got to really try and test different styles to really understand how you want to work moving forward. I think that is actually the biggest advantage to hiring sooner rather than later, because you get to work out those processes, you get to develop and curate a way that works for you. That way, when you do get busy or when it does ramp up and you're ready to go, you're not then in a situation where you've got so many clients, you're scrambling and you're trying to figure out, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed right now. Now I need to like outsource. And you'll be having to learn that entire piece of managing and leading somebody while you're already overwhelmed. You should really like reverse engineer that, so that instead when you're less busy, that's when you should really be like developing and honing in on this system or this process with somebody else, so that when it does get crazy busy, you're like, great, I'm good to go. Let's do this together. Sorted. No need to like deal with managing. The person already knows how to help you and like how to wrap up and go. I have seen countless times where it just gets done at the wrong time, and we've already said, while you're managing somebody and you're trying to train somebody at the same time, you've seen why there's organizations that have literally bring in training companies just to take care of that alone. It's because it's such an important piece of onboarding and managing any team. Do it early on. Don't wait until it's too late to then start on like having another hire. The other thing about hiring somebody in is that you will then start to also recognize or realize certain areas of work that you need more support in. Sometimes you might hire for something specific, and then you realize as the work piles up or the work starts to build up, that wasn't the thing that you needed support in, and you need a lot more of XYZ. The other thing is you've got to see how people play to their strengths. I know some amazing photographers who just love shooting, but they just don't like the editing side at all. So how does that work for your workflow? This all pieces that are super important, but at the end of the day, in any business at all, I believe that hiring somebody or having a contractor support you in the work that you need getting done is something that everybody should bring in really early on. It also allows you to get more productive with your work, and then you are able to focus on more things that you enjoy. I hope that was helpful. If you like the vibe, please subscribe. I'm JuneAye, and I hope you have an amazing day. Ciao!